For geometry, your first prerequisite will be algebraic properties. The first one is the commutative property. This comes from the idea of commuting or moving around. So if you switch the order, it doesn't change the answer. So this tells us that a plus b is equal to b plus a, or a times b is equal to b times a. The commutative property only applies to addition and multiplication. The associative property comes from the word associate, meaning to group. So what this means is that a plus b plus c is equal to a plus b plus c. Or a times b times c is equal to a times b times c. This also only applies to addition and multiplication. The distributive property comes from the word distribute, which just means to hand out. So a parentheses b plus c is equal to a times b plus a times c. The number outside of the parentheses multiplies each part on the inside of the parentheses. The next property is the identity property. No matter what you do to it, it remains the same. So what this means is for addition, we have 0 plus a equals a, and for multiplication, we have 1 times a equals a. For inverse property, whatever turns your number into the identity is what we're going to do. So whatever turns your number into 0 for addition or 1 for multiplication. So addition inverse, a plus opposite of a, is equal to 0. And for multiplication inverse, we have a times 1 over a is equal to 1. There's also a substitution property. All this means is to plug in a number for a variable. Now, try some on your own. Here we want you to name the property for each example. Pause the video and try to name the property for each one. When you're finished, hit play and we'll go over the answers. Okay, so the first one, 3 times 4 is equal to 4 times 3. This is the commutative property because when I switch the order, it doesn't change the answer. For the second one, 5 plus negative 5 is equal to 0. This is the inverse property because it turns the number into the identity. 3h is equal to 12 if h is equal to 4. This is substitution because we're plugging in a number for a variable. Negative 2 parentheses 4 minus 6 is equal to negative 8 plus 12. This is the distributive property because we're putting that negative 2 times the 4 and negative 2 times negative 6. 0 plus 18 equals 18. This is the identity property because no matter what we added to it, it remained the same because we have the 0. And then 1 times negative 3 is equal to negative 3. This is also the identity property because it remained the same because we multiplied by a 1. And then finally, 2 plus 6 plus 1 is equal to 2 plus 6 plus 1. This is the associative property because when I group these things, it doesn't change the answer. And that's it. If you have any questions, ask your teacher.